Check. 1, 2, 3.
The D. Brief. This is the D Brief.
Go. Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's arts
and entertainment scene.
This is the D
Brief.
Hello and welcome to the Debrief. I'm your co-host. My name is Seth Ressler.
I'm Becky Scarcello.
And I'm Jag.
All right, guys. Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day.
All right, we are officially taking the day off, but we didn't want to leave you empty-handed. So we figured we'd give you a little something just to tide you over. We are going to have an interview this Thursday because it is Detroit Month of Design here in September.
Whole month of
in the city of
September,
Detroit.
yep.
So we've got Olga Stella, who is from Design Core Detroit. She's going to tell us all about it. That episode you can hear on Thursday. For now, we just wanted to give you a little taste of a conversation that I had.
A little amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche. But also something to do the next weekend.
Right.
So September 8th.
Yeah, so it's the very bushy conversation.
Yes.
That did not sound right.
I don't know. Okay.
I sat down with the GM of special events at Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village because they have the Old Car Festival coming up. It is happening September 8th and 9th at Greenfield Village. And it's pretty much exactly what it sounds
right.
like.
I've actually been to this before. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool event. So I sat down with him. His name is Jim Johnson. And I started by asking the question, what happens at the Old Car Festival?
We've been doing it for 68 years. We know, I believe it's the oldest continuously held car show in the world, probably. It features privately owned automobiles. They're juried, so they're authentic. They're restored or preserved in a way that they would have looked during their actual lives when they were new. And this year we're expecting nearly 800 vehicles. And they range from dates from the late 1880s, sometimes older, up to 1932. And with this particular show, we gather the cars. They have assigned parking areas. It's done chronologically from the oldest to the newest, and it literally goes around the entire area of Greenfield Village, which is a big place. But for this particular show, they're encouraged to move around, and they do. So at any given time, at least a third of them are on the move. So when you're in the middle of all that, you're seeing early gasoline power, 1- and 2-cylinder cars that make this distinct huffing and puffing noise, chuffing noises, steam cars, electric cars, Model T Fords, Model A Fords, luxury cars from the different periods, sometimes up to 16-cylinder powered cars. So the sights, the sounds, the smells are just something that you'll never encounter anywhere else, as they're all sort of on the move all around you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to be able to see all the cars moving. So you've been to this, you've seen this.
Yes, it's pretty neat. And, it's a parade, basically. And they had cool, ragtime music and different things going on. And we enjoyed it.
So one of my best friends at one point had a Ford Model A, and I believe it was in the 1930s. And he actually kept this thing in pristine condition. He was actually able to drive it down the interstate, in slow lane, obviously. And when he got married, he had his wife make her grand entrance in this 1930 Model A.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I've ridden in this car. It is so cool to be in a car that's almost 100 years old.
Right.
And he had it running like a dream.
So he would love an event like this. This year is actually the year of the pickup truck.
Okay.
Yeah, here's what that's all about.
It's kind of a fascinating thing, and people don't really think about it or realize, but both Ford and General Motors really actively got into building trucks 100 years ago. So the Ford Motor Company really produces its first truck the year earlier, but they made very few of them, just a handful of them, and it was called the Model TT. So the Model T is the car, and the TT was the truck, the heavier duty vehicle. And it coincided really with the American entry into World War I, and vast majority of these early production were produced for the war effort. So they were transformed into various trucks that served overseas and were shipped over that way. But very quickly they became really useful amongst business people. People didn't drive trucks like we do today as kind of like your car. Like people buy a loaded F-150 and they drive it as their car. Trucks were used for work, and they were no frill. It was a basic work vehicle, and they came in lots of different forms, and we'll see, especially with the Fords, lots of different versions will be brought out for this weekend.
Now, I'm 5'4", so I've never even entertained the idea of getting a truck.
Oh, me neither. No, and I don't need to haul anything. So
It's funny. He talks about how it was where a truck was just a truck to haul
Right.
stuff. From friends of mine that have that work in the automotive industry. Half the people here. But what's interesting about these trucks now is you can get a basic low end truck to haul stuff, or you can get like a $50,000-$60,000 truck. The inside is what you'd find in like a Lexus or a Mercedes.
right.
It's true,
It's your,
yep.
it's your work vehicle. It's your everyday vehicle. It's got its own Wi-Fi in it. Like
Right.
these trucks now have become so sophisticated and so high end. It's kind of cool to see a throwback to how they first started.
Absolutely. So one of the things that they're going to have there that I think is really, really cool is they've actually got a Model T assembly team. Yes.
Wait, they're gonna like make it on site?
Yeah, build it.
Here's what they're going to do.
They come from Canada, and it's a group of guys that have kind of fairly stripped down, but all the main components are there, 1920s era Model T. And they begin the whole show with a big pile of parts. And they narrate it as they go, but they, as quickly as they can, assemble the car and start it up and drive it away. So it's kind of a fun thing, and that happens several times during the day down on Walnut Grove, which is our activities field down on the edge of the village.
I would be so terrible at that. Like, even if I had an instruction manual, I'd be
Right.
like building the thing from IKEA. Like, I'd be
Like-
swearing, I'd be throwing things. Like, just give me a car.
Unlike IKEA, you could read this instruction
Right.
manual.
Well, that's true, but oh.
I'm picturing in my head. I'm picturing like a NASCAR pit stop and like the Benny Hill music playing, and these guys like running around and putting all the parts together as fast as they can, getting going.
I would totally want to see that, though.
Yeah. No, it's-
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just thought that was cool.
It is neat.
All right, you mentioned this before, the ragtime music that they
Oh,
have there.
yeah.
Yes, they actually have the River Raisin Ragtime Review. Try saying that 6 times
I'm
fast.
impressed you said it once.
Yeah.
So am I. Here's what that's all about.
So the River Raisin Ragtime Review is a band that comes in. They're based in Tecumseh, and they're probably one of the country's finest groups that performs this genre of music. And they're going to perform an evening concert for us at 7 p.m., and there's dancing, and it's really well attended. It's a great show. And then they do another repeat concert of the same program on 3 p.m. on Sunday. So you get to, a chance to hear them twice if you want to. But the music is really extraordinary, and it was this form of music that was completely forgotten in this country. It went out of favor very quickly in the late 19 teens when the jazz age pushed in, and it was rediscovered when it was accidentally used because it wasn't really the correct kind of music to use in the movie The Sting. If you remember The Entertainer, that hit like #1 on the pop charts, which is crazy. But it reintroduced ragtime music back to the American public, and they've been really enjoying it ever since. So it's really good stuff.
Jag, you haven't seen The Sting, have you?
No, I know.
Oh, that is such a great movie.
Do you know who's
you know-
in it?
Yeah.
Do you even know who's
No.
in it? Paul Newman.
Robert Redford.
The salad dressing guy.
Yeah, it's
my.
it's just a great
It
heist
is.
movie, sort of
Classic.
yeah, it's
And the music is
fantastic.
great.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a period movie.
There is
Yeah.
hope for me.
Yes.
We reactivated our Netflix subscription this weekend.
You should watch The Sting.
Yeah, if it's on Netflix.
We started with a great movie the other night.
Yeah.
Cars 3, great Pixar movie.
What in the world is going on at your house?
All right. Anyway, back to Jim Johnson. I asked him if he had any final thoughts that he wanted to share about the Old Car Festival before I took off.
This is an amazing place, and if you're from the local Metro Detroit area, you're probably going to tell me the last time you were here was in 5th grade on a field trip, and it's time to come out again. This is turns out to be a very postponable visit for people because it's always here. But it's a national treasure. It's an international treasure. And if you're in the area and haven't been for a while, it's time to come back out.
I will say that that's true. When I first moved here to the Detroit area
Me too.
3 years ago, I got a season pass and went a couple of times to Greenfield Village. That's an amazing place.
Oh, I know. We have the membership too. We go every year for the Halloween thing.
I want to go for that. I
It
haven't
is so
been.
fun. You should come.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've gone with the same family like 11 years in a row. So our kids have grown up together.
You guys
doing
could go and bring Seth as like your little like kid ghost or something.
Yeah.
You
wear
could tag
a
along.
costume.
Make that
You
happen.
can ride in the wagon.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But they always have good stuff going going on.
I'd pay money to see.
I would too.
So anyway, the Old Car Festival is happening September 8th and 9th at Greenfield Village. Go check it out. Like we said, because it's Labor Day, this is going to be a shortened episode for us. Thanks to Jim Johnson, the GM of special events over at Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village, for taking the time to talk to us. And don't forget, this Thursday, we will be dropping a full episode. It's our interview with Olga Stella from Design Core Detroit. She's going to tell us all about Detroit's month of design and all the events that are happening. Until then, Detroit's moving. Keep up.
The D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.